This week, we're hiking one of the most iconic treks on the planet, the Inca Trail. We've hiked all over the world, but this hike has something a little bit different that we've never experienced before. There are 4 people hiking in our group, but we are being supported by 1 guide, a chef, and 10 porters.
And this is extra strange for us because we've never had anyone carry an ounce for us before. So we're going from that to a whole team of people carrying everything from tents to toilets.
There's actually kind of a phrase around Cusco, Peru, that basically says the Inca Trail does not exist without porters. So over the next 4 days, we're going to be taking you through some of the most epic landscapes Peru has to offer, incredible historical landmarks, and show you what it's like to hike one of the most iconic trails on the planet with a 3-to-1 staff ratio. We just started the Inca Trail. It would not be my preference for it to be raining, which it's not really raining that hard, but it gives this kind of like mystical, magical quality about the landscape around us. We can already see Inca ruins. I'm ready for it. If you are like me and didn't know anything about the Inca Trail, it was created by an Incan emperor called Machu Picchu from 1438 to 1472. And the point was to kind of connect Machu Picchu with the rest of the Incan civilization.
So there are all different skill levels on this hike, and we have read like countless blog posts and watched videos, and admittedly we were a little scared about doing this, but turns out the first half of the first day is pretty easy. It's relatively flat and it's a good way to kind of get your feet wet, so to speak. But after the flat part, you go up a moderate hill, and when you get to the top, we walked up to the cliff edge, and then we saw this incredible Quechua village called Patayacta.
Wow, look at those like houses down there. That's so cool. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine like if this is abandoned for hundreds of years and you just came across this?
So we have arrived to our first lunch spot ever.
I didn't know this, but they actually like carry an entire tent with chairs and a table, and they're cooking us this big lunch right now, and we were welcomed with cold juice drinks.
And applause.
If anyone should be applauded, I think it's the porters who are carrying all of our stuff.
This is Andrew, who's Justin's cousin, and this is Sam, his wife. So far, how is the food?
Delicious, but excessive. We have had 4 courses so far, and they've all been amazing. I just don't know how they have like packed in all of this food. They brought out a soup that was really delicious, and we thought that was the end. And then they brought out 4 plates.
So the beginning of today was pretty flat, and now I think we have maybe about 2 more hours up to our camp. I think it's gonna be mostly uphill, but today's been pretty mellow. This is our first official tea time, which is at 4:30. I definitely was not expecting this when we signed up for a camping experience. We really enjoyed tea time. We had these really delicious snacks, including these like fried wonton stuffed with bananas, but my favorite part of tea time was definitely being surrounded by at least 4 cats at once. It was like letting me live out my cat lady dreams.
So when we're hiking, we try to bring as little food as possible because we carry it ourselves, but that wasn't the case here, and I probably ate way too much during tea time. I know I ate at least half a sleeve of cookies. And that was a problem because an hour later we had our first 4-course dinner.
I have a little bit of conflicted feelings about this because on one hand, our experience camping on the Inca Trail was definitely the bougiest backpacking experience we'll ever have. We constantly had like incredible food cooked for us, multiple course meals every single day. On the other hand, it started to make us feel a little bit guilty about all of the different things that the porters were carrying. There were silver platters that the food was served on. There was these heavy like sugar jars that were served to us during tea time. It just felt like a lot of the stuff was unnecessary given it was a camping experience. And while there is supposed to be a weight limit of what the porters carry of about 55 pounds, we kind of suspect that a lot of the companies, I can't speak specifically for Salkantay Trekking, the company that we went with, but a lot of the company's bags were really, really large and looked to be much heavier than 55 pounds.
One thing that really caught me off guard was how much civilization there has been along this entire first day of the hike. We've been passing towns like maybe every 10 to 20 minutes, and they'll sell everything from sandwiches to cookies to beer, which Jessica's already had 3 cups of. And I guess that can be kind of a good and a bad thing. Like on one hand, it's really cool because there's like these relatively nice bathrooms that you can pay essentially 25 cents to use. But on the other hand, it kind of detracts from the natural beauty that you would expect along a remote Peruvian hike.
I do think after day one, all of the towns will peter out. And it's worth mentioning too that when we say towns, we mean like a collection of essentially like 20 houses. It's definitely added like a certain local character to this hike, but I think I also am looking forward to kind of getting past civilization and just being surrounded by the Andes Mountains.
We were woken up at 5 a.m., but they wake you up by bringing coca tea to your tent. There's definitely worse ways to wake up.
There's officially day 2 on the Inca Trail. This is supposed to be the most challenging day. We're going to be hiking about 10 miles and then up 4,000 feet of elevation. One of the sides that we're going up is called Dead Woman's Pass. I think there's like really large steps that you have to climb up. I'm curious to see if this portion of the trail lives up to its name. Hopefully not. It is 6:30 in the morning and I have already stripped off all my layers, if that tells you how today is gonna go.
Our guide keeps telling us that we haven't officially started on the Inca Trail yet, and I was like, what does that mean? And apparently the entire Inca Trail, like after Dead Woman's Path, is paved with stones, which I'm really excited to see.
Nothing but steps up and down. So we are past where all civilization is. So I was just expecting there to be like holes in the ground with respect to toilets. But there's actual like flush toilets along the trail, which is pretty nice. You do have to bring your own toilet paper though.
I saw some videos that made them look disgusting, and these look only moderately disgusting.
Only moderately stinky, which we can deal with.
Jess is not as tall as me,
I'm
but
standing on a little hill, but we always talk about if our heights were different because I'm like a good almost a foot shorter than Justin.
so we are essentially 70% up from our campsite at night 1 to Dead Woman's Pass. Was it called Dead Woman's Pass? I think we've done like 2,800 feet of elevation gain. We have about 12 to 1,300 feet to go.
It's so cool and we're in the shade, and honestly that makes all the difference. If
Yeah.
you watched our last week's video, we hiked Colca Canyon, and we didn't show this, but there was part of the canyon where it was maybe like 200 feet, just like this very short climb, and I was having like a panic attack because we ran out of water and it was so hot. We were in the sun, it was hot, it was just not good. But here it's probably like 50 degrees.
It's gotten a lot colder up at elevation too. So I think between hiking in the shade and being at higher elevation, it feels amazing. I want to take this opportunity to commend the porters who have been working for us. They started probably like 30, 60 minutes after us, and they just passed us, and they're carrying all our stuff. Their backs look insanely huge. They're carrying so much stuff, no hip straps.
It's easy for me to say this is moderately challenging when I have like essentially nothing on my back, but the porters they have a max weight of 55 pounds. And yeah, so it's moderately challenging for me, but I'm pretty sure that's all thanks to the porters.
And not only do they leave after us so that they can pack up and we can leave at our convenience, but half of them get to the lunch site and the cook starts cooking, and the other half continue on to the base camp for the night, and they set up the tents and all that. So man, they are working really hard. They also get up at like 2 or 3 a.m. to start cooking and preparing stuff, boiling water and cooling it so it's ready for us. And then they're up very late. So these guys like really, really work hard. It's very, very impressive, and we're very appreciative.
Thank you, porters.
Thank you, porters.
Justin and I talk about this all the time. I don't know if we've ever shared this on YouTube. I'm feeling like very verklempt right now because I'm just so grateful that I have legs and feet and a heart and brain and lungs that carry me all these beautiful places. I know not everyone has the ability to do this, so I'm just feeling really grateful right now that I get to be in places like this. How we doing, Justin? Woo! We are going up a lot in elevation, so Sam said she's starting to get a headache. I can maybe feel like a teeny tiny one coming on, but all things considered, this is not as scary as I thought it was gonna be. So that's good. I don't know if you can see behind me, but there's like these teeny tiny people up there. That is the top of Dead Woman's Pass. So we're getting close. The air's definitely getting thinner. It's getting harder, but it's not too much farther, and that is officially the tallest point in the trail. So let's get at it. You're crushing it, you're crushing it. Welcome to the tallest part of the Inca Trail. Woo! High five.
Woo! He said it normally takes 5.5 hours, and we did it in 4 hours and 15.
Good job, yeah.
Good job. Good job, dude.
Hell yeah.
Wow. Sam, it has this like superhuman ability to retain oxygen. She's got this cool pulse oximeter watch, and somehow even at 1,400 or 14,000 feet,
Who's at 92?
she's at 92%. I don't think I'm gonna fare as well as Sam. Last time we did this, I was like 7% under Sam.
He was like 87
Yeah.
at one of the ruins in Cusco. 92?
92?
92, not bad, Justin.
I don't believe it.
After making the steep climb up Dead Woman's Pass, then we eventually had to hike downhill 2,000 feet. Fun fact, supposedly this section was actually the reason the Spanish never got to reach Machu Picchu and destroy it, because their horses weren't able to make it down the steep and rocky trail here. Once we got to the bottom, we reached the spot that we eventually had lunch. We were actually supposed to camp here for the night, but there was a landslide at the last campsite along the Inca Trail, so everything was kind of pushed around, and we actually hiked more mileage and basically hiked the entire trail over the course of 3 days.
So after lunch, we hiked another 1,100 feet up to the second highest point of the trail. We were all worried about Dead Woman's Pass because of the high elevation and the name, but this second push-up was actually incredibly hard. I think because our stomachs were so full, and we had also already hiked 8 miles that day.
Luckily, you do get to stop about halfway up the trail at one of the Inca ruins called Runkurukai.
Runkurukai.
What Justin said, this is where we learned something really cool. So effectively, the Inca Trail is not only a pathway that leads from Cusco to Machu Picchu, it's also a connection of buildings that they used to communicate. So effectively, there were all of these buildings perched on various mountaintops so that from Machu Picchu to Cusco, they could send signals, either smoke, or if it wasn't a clear day, they could send sound. They could send messages with as little as 10 minutes between Cusco and Machu Picchu, which is 68 miles across mountaintops.
After visiting Runkurukai, we did our final push up the second summit of the trail. Just before we made our way to the top, we were greeted with what was probably the highlight of our entire hike on the Inca Trail, seeing a spectacled bear. Just to give you some context for how rare this is, our tour guide Julio has hiked the Inca Trail 722 times over the course of 25 years. He's only seen a spectacled bear 5 times. In fact, the last time he had seen one was 8 years ago, and he didn't even believe that we had spotted one until we showed him our screen through our long lens. At that point, he was so impressed that he and the other guides pushed us out of the way so that they could see the bear through the camera.
It was actually really cute to see how excited all the guides were getting to see the bear.
We got a little behind the scenes action here.
This is what YouTubers look like in the wild.
Oh wow, you can see his face.
No se parece, está acá. Sí, sí, ese oso es ajá. Ese es muy grande. Oh, mira, grandazo, boom. Grande. Okay, so like, yeah, I haven't seen the bird after a long time, yeah.
Really?
Oh, he just shook. Oh wow.
Fell down. Oh.
It is our last descent of the day, and wow, this place is so beautiful. I don't know exactly what I was expecting along the Inca Trail. I don't know if you can see behind me, but there's like this pond that's lit up with the sun. There's like all these misty clouds that make it look kind of like magical and mysterious. And then like way in the distance, there's this beautiful, huge ridge that's like lit up with this golden light. It looks kind of like Hawaii. I don't know if this is what it usually looks like, but with all of the light and the clouds, it just looks so magical. And
Man, the Inca Trail is really blowing me away.
We ended the day at Sayac Marca, which is probably our favorite Inca ruin along the entire trail. It was located really high up in the mountains at 3,600 feet. So it just had these beautiful views of the clouds below and these epic views of the surrounding mountains. It had two components. One was more ceremonial and one was more residential. One of the things that surprised us the most about the Inca Trail, though, is that we honestly didn't learn a ton about the culture, religion, and society of the ancient Quechua people because there was no written Quechua language, meaning that a lot of that kind of information has just been lost to time. I could have spent 6 hours there. We're kind of late for dinner, so we had to leave, but man, this trail has been absolutely incredible.
Yeah, we've been fortunate enough to see some really cool things. And this might be at the very top of my list now.
Justin said, like not on camera, out loud, I think this might be the coolest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Pretty bold statement.
I mean, it's just some of the best hiking in the entire planet mixed with some of the most beautiful ancient ruins you've ever seen. If it isn't already, add it to your bucket list.
We arrived to our campsite at golden hour. Salkantay Trekking has done an amazing job of finding really beautiful campsites. This is our 2 tents, and we are just in a bowl of gorgeous mountains.
After dinner, our guide Julio invited us outside to introduce us to the porters. To be honest, we were hoping throughout this experience that we're going to kind of get to befriend some of the porters or converse with them, but they wound up being very shy and bashful, which was definitely evident in this very awkward ceremony. We were told by Julio that most of the porters spoke Quechua as their primary language, and at best, very limited Spanish and no English. These kind of highlighted our feelings about using porters on the Inca Trail. On one hand, because of their limited language skills, we were told that this is some of the best job opportunities that they can get and a very stable and reliable income to bring back to their remote communities. We did a ton of research before coming into this and chose to go with Salkantay Trekking because they pay porters better than most of the other operators, as well as the company is 100% Peruvian owned, which from our research, only 2 companies can say that. Still, we had hoped that the porters would be treated a little bit better than what we witnessed. For example, all 10 porters and the chef shared our cooking and dining tents, which were about 50 square foot apiece, so pretty crammed for guys that are carrying a bunch of stuff every day. In addition to the sleeping conditions, we also learned that they carried some things that just seemed unnecessary to make their heavy packs even heavier. But for example, they had been carrying a toilet for the entire trek, which we didn't even learn about until day 3 when the bathroom situation was so nasty that they broke it out. It just felt like there was a lot of things that could have been lighter weight, that could have either been pared down and just kind of made their lives a little bit more challenging than it needed to be.
Thank you.
Can I give you a kiss? Our faces.
I'm recording.
Oh, I gotta hug that back.
I'm recording the tea delivery.
Oh. Every morning at 5 a.m. we get a coca tea delivery as our wake-up call, which I wish it was a little bit later than 5 a.m. You might be able to tell by me not being able to tell what a cell phone versus a headlamp is, but it's a nice little touch. So it is day 3 of 4 on the Inca Trail. Usually we would be hiking to a base camp right before Machu Picchu and then hiking into Machu Picchu super early tomorrow morning. Unfortunately, that last camp that we would have stayed at had a landslide, so we're doing things a little bit different. We're gonna be hiking, I think, approximately 10 miles today, so we're actually going to be hiking into Machu Picchu past it. So we're gonna go to the famous viewpoint where you see all the photos on Instagram. And then camp at the base at Aguas Caliente, and then eventually go up tomorrow morning to kind of explore the ruins. Our goal is to be at the overlook by 2 p.m. today. I think we're gonna have to hustle, so wish us luck. Our tour guide Julio has told us that day 3 is his favorite day, and I can understand why.
Whoa. Oh my God. Oh my God.
We're gonna Inca building. You see terraces there?
So I think this is our first good glimpse of Machu Picchu mountain, that one right there, which we are going to be hiking to today and hopefully seeing some very cool ruins. We are currently standing on Puya Patamarca, Puya Patamarca, which means cloud layers, cloud terraces.
Cloud terrace or cloudy place?
Cloudy place.
Cloudy place.
Thank you, Julio. And it's really, really beautiful. I'm very excited to see what else is in store today. So yesterday we hiked about 10 miles, but we also did a total of a mile elevation gain. Mostly today, I think we're gonna be hiking downhill, but currently, I don't know if you can see, the trail is quite muddy, which is kind of an adventure in and of itself.
We're at these really cool ruins here. You can see on every single level they have the flying steps. So I don't know if you can tell, but it's basically just stones that they stuck in the middle of the wall that you can step up. Man, that's pretty cool.
We officially got our first glimpse of the Inca city of Machu Picchu. Right now it is totally clear, no clouds. Hopefully that is the same when we actually get there. We finally got to Julio's favorite Inca building here called Huila Buena. And I have discovered why. Not only is it one of the best preserved Inca buildings in the entire Inca Trail, but it also has llamas.
This in Huila, they are almost like 14 water fountains.
So we are doing our final leg of our hike to Machu Picchu after lunch. But man, we've dropped so much in elevation and it is hot. It's supposed to be 98 degrees right now.
Everyone's been talking up this thing called the Gringo Killer, and I've been pretty scared, but we just got to it, and that's it. I think it's like 50 feet, so I'm not too worried.
Go get killed, Gringo.
Okay. Hey! You're not dead. Okay.
Let's check this out.
Whoa. How cool is that?
16 guys.
1, 2, 3.
Wow. That's amazing.
Hey Justin, we made it to Machu Picchu. How does it feel?
Amazing. That's unreal.
Man, at this point, I feel like I've seen hundreds of videos of people who hike 4 days on the Inca Trail, and it's totally clouded over. We have nothing but clear skies, so I feel exceedingly lucky that we have the weather that we do.
This is a very profound place to be in nature. Such magnificent architectural beauty and history feels so significant. And I just feel very, very fortunate to be in this place. Well, we finally made it.
I feel like we've been really lucky with this trip.
Apparently, it's incredibly hard to see Machu Picchu from the top here. There's almost always clouds covering it.
I think the clouds kind of like move in and out, and so you can get like glimpses or periods of 5 to 10 minutes where you can see Machu Picchu. There's not been a cloud anywhere. We've just had nothing but open views of it. It's been absolutely beautiful.
We're gonna be back here tomorrow morning, so fingers crossed.
Our tour only included hiking with inside the ruins of Machu Picchu for 1 day, so we enjoyed the rest of the afternoon seeing Machu Picchu from the overlook at the top. We then hiked almost 2,000 feet down to the riverbank, and because the campsites were shifted around, we actually spent the night in a dog park / playground, which was a little weird. But it also meant that we were gonna have to hike all of that distance on the way back up in the morning. We also didn't know this, but all of the porters take the train back at 5 a.m. in the morning, so that meant we had to wake up at 3:45 so they could pack up all of our wet gear because it was raining the night before. After we packed up early in the morning, we got ready and hiked 2,000 feet back up the hill to go see Machu Picchu.
You made it!
We are on our tour in Machu Picchu this morning, so it is our last day of the Inca Trail, and I'm really, really glad that we got here yesterday because this is our view.
But I'm not mad because we were here yesterday and it was so beautiful.
And the clouds just kind of lifted all of a sudden, and now there's this sort of like beautiful, misty, mystical quality of all these wispy clouds everywhere. It looks so beautiful. The Spanish came to Peru in, I think, 1532 and did not know that Machu Picchu existed, or actually weren't able to access it because the only way you could get here is vis-a-vis the Inca Trail, and their horses couldn't get up and down it. So I'm glad it wasn't destroyed. Glad we got to explore it. It's a very, very magical place.
It's important to note that when we're providing our perspective of porters along the trail, that it's coming from our own background of backpacking, carrying our own stuff, and coming from the United States where we have pretty rigorous labor laws. It's entirely possible that the porters have absolutely no problem with what they're doing, that they're happy and excited to have the jobs that they're having because it is a stable income.
All that's to say, if you're Midwesterners like us who project your discomfort on other people and are prone to feeling guilty about everything, you might want to consider doing the Salkantay Trek. Jess mentioned it earlier in the video. It's a trek that's nearby and also goes to Machu Picchu that's growing in popularity. In most cases, I don't think you have porters. You hike yourself, you carry your own gear, but there are refugios or huts where they'll cook for you and they'll have beds and linen, so you don't have to worry about hiking a lot of that traditional camping gear while you're backcountry camping.
I will note most Salkantay trekking options use mules, which we also wouldn't recommend doing that. We've unfortunately seen mules be kind of abused in many different places around the world, not just in Peru. The benefit though of going on the Salkantay Trek is that you can do it totally unguided. You can just bring your own equipment and then buy food and accommodations along the way.
So if you don't feel comfortable using the gear that's hauled into the refugios by mules, you're welcome to carry literally everything yourself on your back.
Setting aside the porter issue, I really enjoyed the Inca Trail. I can't imagine another trek on the planet that kind of commingles stellar natural beauty and incredible history and ends at a freaking wonder of the world. It was a really incredible experience. It was really fun getting to share it with our friends Sam and Andrew, and it was definitely one of the highlights of our time in South America.
If you like this video and want to help our channel out, please hit the like and subscribe button. Definitely let us know if you have any questions about this trek, and stay tuned for next week because Jess and I are going to be sleeping suspended on the side of a cliff thousands of feet over the canyon floor below.